You know what? Let's just run through these three pieces of sound. Let's start with Bari Weiss on The View, because I want to really keep exercising Ben's intellect here.
So we've talked about this offline, personally, and now on this show, but it's easy to spot anti-Semitism when it's a bunch of crazy people with tiki torches screaming, "Jews will not replace us."
Yes.
What's trickier is tweets like Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's recently deleted about how Israel has, quote, hypnotized the world to carry out, quote, evil.
That was 2012. She said recently deleted. It might have been recently deleted, but it was tweeted out in 2012.
That is harder to spot as anti-Semitic, which makes it more dangerous, you think. How so?
Does make it more dangerous because, as you said, when you see people marching with tiki torches or you hear the Pittsburgh killer writing on social media, "All Jews must die," that's very obviously eliminationist. The problem with anti-Semitism from the far left is that it oftentimes is smuggled into the mainstream under the guise of progressive values. So it says about itself, "I'm just standing up for the downtrodden Palestinians," which they are. "I am just standing up for justice. I'm standing against racism." And so that kind of language is a siren song, including to Jews, 75% of whom vote for Democrats. And so that's the problem with it, is that it's not as easy to spot, oftentimes because it says, we're just about criticizing Israel. In the case of Ilhan...
Nancy Pelosi shut it down?
Nancy Pelosi shut it down very aggressively with Ilhan Omar. The problem is that she still has a spot on the Congressional Foreign Affairs Committee. And that's a real question.
No, that's actually exactly where she belongs, and she showed the ball there in terms of what the actual agenda is, in terms of what we talked about earlier. Ben, I mean, look, that's the one. It's funny because they're picking something from a very long time ago, which you actually like. That is a ill-chosen tweet.
It is.
Fair enough. That's before she's in elected office, and it is extraordinary. I mean, first of all, Bari Weiss, as a college activist, tried to suppress this academic freedom of academics who spoke about Israel and Palestine. And secondly, even if you wanted to critique that tweet, this whole woman's brand is built on promoting people that promote the bell curve.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No, that's right. That we should, we shouldn't say that the IDW, who she created as a brand, are misogynist because what they say about the differences between men and women. We shouldn't say that, that people are racist, because they're promoting narratives that have been, extremely disadvantageous, to black people. But in this case, right, you should essentially, hone in on left-wing advocacy for Palestinian human rights until you can hear the anti-Semitism.
Right.
I mean, it's harder to hear in the same sense that it's harder to hear the satanic messages and Zeppelin records played backwards than it is to hear the lyrics played forward, because they're not there unless you're primed by a narrative that tells you to listen for them.
Right.
You're not going to get it. But I mean, she's just helping herself to the conclusion that left-wing advocacy for Palestinians comes not from application of universal values, but from anti-Semitism. And then she's just working backwards from the conclusion. So therefore, even if it seems like they're just making perfectly reasonable objections to egregious human rights abuses and upholding liberal democratic standards that would be uncontroversial in most contexts, there must really be anti-Semitism, but it's just so much more subtle than the right-wing anti-Semitism that you just have to listen really, really closely for it.
Two quick things. # we stand with Ilhan. She's a hero, and she needs to stay on the Foreign Relations Committee, and we need to fight any Democratic crap that could throw her to
any hint they're caving on that, get on them.
Get on them, and get them on them about this censure and all of this bullshit. And secondly, let's title this video something like Bari Weiss caught in major logic fail. Joe Biden.
It is an accomplishment to be sitting right next to Meghan McCain and be saying more ridiculous things.
Yes, that is a standout to be in any clip where you sound worse than Meghan McCain. You just enjoyed that Michael Brooks Show video, and you can get a lot more by subscribing to us here at the Michael Brooks Show YouTube channel. It's literally right there.